Hey guys, Sheldon here at Human Function Performance. Today I want to go over the benefits of the hyperbaric chamber and how we use it for physical therapy, performance, and recovery. Now there are 5 key areas that I'm going to cover, knowing that there's more of the hyperbaric chamber. Just overall, you can see here the chamber is large enough for you get in there, lay down, and honestly, a lot of people have a different kind of agenda as far as when it comes to the benefits that it has, whether it's from a recovery standpoint, maybe relaxation because of what it does to the nervous system, or just in general for brain health and brain fitness. So many categories here as far as what it can address. The first one we're going to talk about is what's called oxidative stress. So when the body is stressed out and we have that increased inflammation throughout the body, what it does is it actually, through the pressure of the oxygen getting driven into the body, because being under pressure at 1.3 atmospheres, over 21% oxygen is being infused into the chamber, with options to get more depending on the setup and what you're actually using it for. So when we look at as far as from oxidative stress, we're talking about increased inflammation throughout the body. This actually lowers the body's ability to think clearly, be productive. So whether it's from a business professional standpoint, maybe an athlete and we have to be on top of our game, or just in general day-to-day activities. When it goes in there and actually helps lower that amount of oxidative stress, what it's doing actually is creating intrinsically within the brain what we call, it's more or less a way to actually get into the body to create what's called antioxidants naturally. So it goes in there and helps flush out that oxidation stress as far as the inflammation to help speed up healing of the body. The second part we want to look at when we look at as far as the benefits of what the hyperbaric chamber does is what we call mitochondrial health. Now, everyone has heard of the mitochondria as far as our powerhouse, the energy production of the cells. This again helps push out any kind of increased inflammation, any maybe toxins or just in general things that are slowing us down from an actual standpoint of how the cell, which does everything in the body, functions and how that mitochondria can produce energy. Now, the third, what we want to look at is more from a neuroprotective and a healing, which a lot of people use this for. It could be, maybe if someone had a severe case, such as a traumatic brain injury, concussion, or maybe just in general, an injury. I know recently I've had multiple athletes come in here for maybe knee injuries, back, hip, shoulder, you name it. This actually goes in there and not just addresses the brain, obviously, when we talk about brain health and brain fitness, but overall throughout the body. So we're talking about it from a neuroprotective because it can drive oxygen, again, to those cellular levels or parts of the body that we're not usually maybe getting it. It speeds up the recovery process and thus the actual benefit of what you're getting. The fourth we're going to talk about is from an anti-inflammatory standpoint. So there's a lot of crossover in a lot of these conditions that maybe people experience, but just at different layers of the body. So the increased inflammation throughout the body is what is linked to all disease and or limitations in how our body actually heals itself. So when we think about in general, when we're using that pressure from laying in there and driving the oxygen to the cellular level, we're also pushing out that inflammation, which is what we want, because inflammation is not bad, especially when it's maybe new as far as a fresh injury, because we need the extra blood flow to go there and actually heal that site. But if we have too much inflammation, what they call chronic inflammation over a period of time, that can lead to either increased toxic buildup or just in general degradation as far as breakdown of that actual area. And the fifth part, which is a very important one that all people really need to focus on, is what's called increased capillary formation, so increased blood flow. So when we have increased blood flow due to being under pressure, driving the oxygen to the cellular level, we're able to create what's called angiogenesis, a new creation of blood vessels. And so along with new blood vessels also comes new nerve endings. So it's really fascinating when you think about what the hyperbaric chamber is capable of and also how quick someone can experience it. Again, depends on your situation, whether you're using it from a recovery standpoint, maybe you had a certain injury, maybe you're just an athlete that you like, or a business professional that you just like working out a lot and have maybe some soreness, stiffness throughout the body that you're trying to improve the efficiency of how the body actually functions and heals, or just in general, maybe it's for brain fitness and brain health, which is, again, one of my big passions, and also what I use it for, is understanding that it can improve the efficiency of how we think, our clarity, our thoughts, and ability to actually speak. I know recently, too, even just having a client come in, he's actually very in tune with his body and had noticed how well he was actually singing. So everyone's got a different experience they get from it. I will say from my personal experience here, it's always going to be different for everyone. It's always a preface it with that as far as when you get in the chamber. But usually what you're going to notice is a very calming sensation. Being under pressure is it's super calming to the nervous system. So you just feel like you have this sense of just, sometimes it's hard to explain because you go from maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say anxiety, some people are a little bit amped up, to just more of a super calm state. So you start to realize, just how well the body can be balanced out. Also from a calmness standpoint, when I measure my sleep score, I have a very high rating, usually right at 100% every single time that I'm in this. on my quality of sleep. So it's very important too, because that improves the quality of the sleep from the deep sleep, which helps with our overall recovery from the physical activity we did that day, and also laying down new memories, and then also the REM sleep when we think about our creative thoughts, our creativity, and our vivid dreams that we're having, connecting old with new memories. So a lot of benefits behind this. Again, it just depends on what you're using it for, and then what the situation is. But whether it's for an injury, whether it's for just in general maintenance, or overall just longevity, this is an amazing tool. Get here to Human Function Performance. If you have questions, reach out to us. It's a I've had nothing but great results with this personally, but also with clients coming in using it for all different conditions. So that's where it can be a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's a very successful tool. It gets right down to it when it's talking about when we're talking about one of the main things that we have to have, every day really, is the oxygen, but also just in general how the body functions. And so when we take a power play like this, that's very effective, we speed up the results that we're getting, but also in general, we get a lot more benefits off the bat because we're actually hitting multiple layers of the body at once, improving our state, our human function and performance.